I am tearing up.
I just about screamed right now, and I'm not even there.
Now that's inspirational, Natalie. I feel inspired today.
Part two of this.
I could be here for another hour.
And then I was top of my class. There were only 2 of us, and the other guy was in the hospital. So here I am.
And I always go, he winds up homeless on the street. It's my fault.
Yeah, now you sound like my wife.
And you can get off.
I don't know. Call it Google. Call it Google.
We're in control. Alexa, how did you get across?
Paul, I cut you off earlier. What were you going to say?
What?
Dang it! Don't do that to me, Paul. Don't do that to me, man.
I don't know what got into my head, but I thought this thought, if I'm working year round, I might as well get paid year round.
Sweet Talk is a weekly 20-minute podcast brought to you by the Continuing Education and Workforce Training Division of Idaho State University's College of Technology. Find us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and SoundCloud, and subscribe today. Now, it's time to get started with Sweet Talk.
Hello, everyone. This is Jason Batalden with Continuing Education Workforce Training. And we are so glad that you're tuning in and checking us out on Sweet Talk. We love our audience. We love that we're into our 4th season and we're knocking out episodes right and left. And as always, not always, but as it should be, we've got Paul on the show today as co-host. Paul, I got to tell you, it's nice to have you on the show with me again.
Thank you, Jason. It's always good to be on the show with you as well. We do fine as a singular host, but I think we're much better as a duo, don't you think?
I think so. At least I hope so.
I hope so. Well, I think we both help each other make up the gaps that we have in our talent.
That's right. Yeah. Well,
and I say talent with quotes.
Thank you. We got to define what talent means, and so I'm not sure we have talent. I think we just agreed to do this, so that's pretty cool.
Yes.
Hey, Paul, we're busy always at Continuing Education Workforce Training. We always want to encourage people to check out our catalog, go online and see what we're up to. But we've got a pretty exciting guest today. To be honest, he is an instructor here at SEWT, and he does teach one of our more popular classes. So,
oh, really?
Yeah, I kind of want to jump right into it. You want to get started?
Yeah, absolutely.
Then let's say the magic word and say welcome, Steve Sullivan. Who you are, just to be clear, you are an instructor for Continuing Education Workforce Training, and you are our square dance instructor, as well as for NKA. So in fact, from what you told us, you are an instructor pretty much up and down this, eastern Idaho, even into stretches into Utah a little bit. So, but better to hear from you than me, sir. So Steve, welcome to the show and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, thanks for having me, Jason and Paul. Appreciate you. And we'll see if we can answer questions that you need, and we can go from there.
Right.
Okay.
On.
All right. I got. How long have you been doing square dancing instructions?
Probably around 50 years.
50 years. So what got you into square dancing?
I was going to say,
yeah. What got you into square dancing initially?
Okay, I started back when I was before I was even a teenager, and got in with the kids and that here locally, and then pretty soon into the teens, and then the adults, and I'm just now keep going, keep myself fit and fit.
So how did you get started square dancing? I mean, were your parents square dancers? Did you join a club? Was a really cute 15-year-old girl?
I was going to say, was it a way to meet girls?
Yeah. I started, my folks were in square dancing and everything. My dad was a caller too. And so I kind of got started that way. Kids, we just kind of got together to have fun too, something else to do. Back when I was younger, there wasn't a lot going on. Once school was out, school was out. And so just to find some other things to do.
Okay. Now you say you're a caller. So that's not just an instructor, but you're a caller. So you're one of those that, that what we see in movies and TV all the time, the person who shouts out the instructions, correct?
Yes, the commands.
Okay.
yeah.
So when did you first start doing calling then? You said, 50 years ago you started doing square dancing.
1985.
1985.
Yeah.
And was that something that you have to train for, or you just asked, hey, can you call today?
No, yeah, I did a lot of training. I went to probably a half dozen caller schools throughout the country.
Oh, wow.
And learned a lot of different things and a lot more.
Wait a minute. There's a caller school?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes,
And you
there
said
is.
schools,
School.
plural.
Yeah. They have callers that are throughout the nation that are kind of your top ones, and they help instruct you how to be a caller and what ways to present yourself, present the music, the commands, the songs, and everything like that. And then they, so you don't just jump into it.
No, you don't.
No. So that brings me an interesting question. We've all seen on TV and movies a square dance caller.
Now, wait a minute, Paul. I got to interrupt you.
Yeah.
And Stephen, I need you to absolutely not be offended by this. My first introduction to square dancing are Looney Tunes cartoons with Bugs Bunny. That's it. That is how I know square dancing. So I don't mean to be at all insulting, but that's my only context.
I think mine was the movie Urban Cowboy.
Yeah, and a lot of the square dancing was introduced back in the schools as part of the PE.
Yes.
But a lot of that was very minor to square dancing. It was just kind of a touch, and that was about it. Square dancing now has evolved to the modern square dancing, to where it's just more involved than just what it used to be back in the grade schools and stuff. We don't do a competition. It's just for fun and exercise. And so we do a lot more than just a few moves. You've got anywhere from the basics in that, which are 50 moves, and then you can go up into the next level, mainstream, which is another 30 moves. So you're up to about 80 some moves, and then you can go up into the plus and on higher. So you can have a lot of different moves to correlate with the square dancing, and you have to retain these moves to where when the caller says them, you do them. And so it's a lot of mind and a lot of different moves that you can get into in positions.
Now, I know that when you're calling, that you're instructing the dancers on how to move. That's correct. But do you, as a caller, also kind of set where the band is going to do certain cues and stuff?
Okay, the band, it's just straight music. So the band, I've done it with live bands before, the Ghost Riders and that out of California and stuff. But the band, the music is just like on a record, whatever.
Okay.
It just goes for about 3.5 minutes. And that's the song. And you just call to that music, to that beat.
Okay.
So do you hit all 80, 50 moves in a 3-minute song? No. Okay.
No,
So you just, so that's part of the calling part is you pick, you have sort of a set that I can't think of the right word, but you have a call, and then that's the moves. You're calling the moves.
Where I'm at now, I really don't know what I'm going to call when I get up.
Really?
I do it when I get there.
Oh, really? I was thinking that maybe you put on music, and then you listen to pieces over and over again, decided, well, I'm going to call this here, I'm going to call this here, but you do it to whatever inspires you at the time.
My head, yeah. I just do it to where when the people are doing their moves, if it looks like they're having a little bit more difficulty, then I'll back off and do a little bit
Oh,
different,
okay.
so that, you know, they can have some fun doing it and not make it so much work and, you know, that type of situation. But you just have a feel for it. You got
Okay,
to watch
all right.
the people. Got to watch
Okay,
the people.
so you bring up a good, interesting point that I want to follow is, so you're basically calling based on your observation of the people dancing.
Yes.
Okay, so have there ever been times that you're watching some of the square dancers and it's almost becomes like a competition because they're doing the move so well that you call and do a call that might challenge them?
Yes, I do. I try to give them a little bit of a challenge there. So I'll call something just a little different, a little out of the ordinary, not the realm, and just to kind of keep them on their toes a little bit.
Excellent.
So first of all, you know, you mentioned in our little warm up that you call or and instruct. I guess there's an instructor side too that we haven't really touched on, but all the way from Idaho Falls down to Utah, and it sounds like many places in between. So where do people square dance? And I sound so ignorant. When I'm going to listen to this podcast again, it's like, Jason, how can you be so clueless about a certain thing that is very popular, but I don't know. So do you guys had community senators, or, I mean, do you go out to, is there square dance clubs or groups, or how does that work?
Okay. There's square dance clubs, and a lot of times we do them in churches and their rec centers, in community centers and their rec centers. We just have to find a location that will work so that we can and be able to dance and let the people have some fun. That's not going to be very costly. Keep everything kind of on a lower end scale for cost. But like here in Pocatello, I'm dancing in Old Town. Used to be the old Casaya's Dance Studio, speakeasy kind of place over here in Old Town on Lewis Avenue. And Idaho Falls, we dance at Cross Point Community Church in their rec hall. We dance in Logan, Utah, in the Logan Rec Center down there. And so it just kind of depends on where we're at, but that's where we're at. And most of the places around the country have clubs or specific areas where they do the square dancing at. Yes.
Okay. So here's another, I'm always, I know so little, and so do you like sometimes have another caller on the stage with you and the two of you will do like dueling calls?
Sometimes I've had that. I do that with other callers. Usually it's just one caller.
Okay. All right.
But sometimes there is an extra one that will, like you say, help out, or they'll harmonize on the song, the lyrics. So yes, there is that situation too. But majority of the time it's just one.
Okay. All right.
So now I'm going to go to the kind of the instructor side of this conversation, and for just a second. So let's just say a couple, I don't know, my wife and I decide that we want to try square dancing. How does that work? And how, you know, what does the instruction look like? And can we just show up and reach out to one of these many different organizations and find out when they're doing it and then just show up, or do we go to a class? How does that work?
On my respect, if I have some people that would like to get started, would like to kind of get a feel for it, I'll let them come in and dance and try to instruct them, give them a little bit of the basic part. Some of the other groups, they want you to come in when their class starts. They don't want to be interrupting the classes too much.
I got you.
Myself, I've done it enough that I can kind of get them fitted in no matter when they come in. But as a couple, we kind of recommend it because it is a boy-girl type thing. But we've got girls that play the boys' parts. We've got boys that play the girls' parts. So it doesn't really make any difference. You can have a partner, or you don't have to have a partner. And
But-
but I just, like I say, and then I will teach, the basics and stuff to them.
And so that's kind of why, like, going in when a class starts is important, I'm assuming, is because going back to, there are some certain basic moves that you need to learn in order to be able to square dance and knock other people over or run into them. And then so that's kind of why to start at the beginning, right? Is to,
Yes.
so you can learn these basics, and then the challenge comes in is adding new moves and developing your skills.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay.
And it's great. It's nicer to have them come in at one time and then stay with it. Because we always add something every session. So every week we add something new. So if you miss a week or 2 weeks, you're going to miss out on that. And you'll have to catch it up. Right. And so it's just more to try to catch up with. And it's easier to do it all at one time than it is to skip around. It's just like school. If you go to the kindergarten, that's what you learn. And then you go to the first grade, and then second grade and third grade. So that's kind of how that is.
So it's a progressionary learning.
It's a progressive.
Okay, excellent. So, Jason, you say that Stephen teaches for us on occasion. I would imagine, does he have any classes coming up for us in the spring?
You know what? I think we talked about that, Stephen. I think where you got coming up here is you started an NKA course here shortly, just a week ago, right?
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
And we're still open yet. So if people want to still come out, that would be great to have them. Right now, we did start last week, but we're still open. So there's no problem.
Excellent.
So
go ahead, Jason. Go ahead.
Well, I guess my next thought is, we're on the instruction side still. Somebody comes in, they really love it. They're going from first, second grade. They're getting all the way up. Is there a competition side to square dancing? I mean, does that still occur, or is that just a myth in my brain that people compete on this?
Competition used to be a lot in square dancing, but now it's not so much. Once in a while at the nationals, they might do a competition to see which square lasts the longest. But the callers are out there, they're going to try to break those squares down. And after 1 or 2 times you break down, you're out. And so they do that. But, they don't do it very often. And it's mainly just for the socializing and the fun, the exercise, and getting to see your friends again, getting out to see them. So it's not really the competition part that's really...
it's the community part, it's the camaraderie part, it's the connection part. So, and again, Paul, I know you're jumping, but here's kind of I'm almost going back to where we should have started this whole conversation.
Okay.
Paul. Why do they call it square dancing?
Okay, square dancing, it's done in a square.
Okay.
That's kind of where it's at. If you have 4 people, then there's a square. If you have 6 people, now that's a hexagon. So, but mainly it's a square because there's 4 couples. There's 8 people total. And everybody has to work together to get through it because you're all working together for the moves.
So in other words, on the floor, these 4 couples are doing the moves, and the goal, I imagine, is to keep that square intact as it's going through the moves.
Intact, keep it moving, and then get back home.
Okay. So
start at home, and then you kind of end up getting back.
So they're basically dancing in an imaginary square.
That's right.
Okay. All right. I get it now.
They leave the home. They go get some groceries. They stop over at grandma's house. They go get some gas, and then they come back home.
It's funny. It's funny you say that because from what I remember, a lot of the calls refer to traveling. Is that correct?
Okay. Yeah, because people had to travel to get to where they were going to dance.
Yeah.
But if you don't have to travel very far, then it's really not traveling. The only traveling you're doing in a square is going from a square formation to line formation to box formations, to wave formations, and you're just in different formations within that group.
So it sounds like very much like almost like a military position.
No, not too much military. You can kind of take it as that, but it's not, because they're staying with the beat of music.
Okay.
In military, it's more of a position.
Sure.
I mean, you've got to be exactly there, and movement and everything. And here it's just, yeah, if you end up there, you end up there.
All right. So you had mentioned mentioned a word briefly a little while ago, the word exercise. So from what I've seen, it looks like it is exercise.
Yes, it is.
So do you get a lot of people who join your class for that intent entirely?
A lot of them are coming just for the social, but a lot come for the exercise. They're getting up out of their chairs and doing something. And in an evening, if you dance every time, each time the music comes on, and you get up, and in the 2.5 hours, you can do anywhere between 6 to 8 miles of jogging.
That is amazing. I love it.
Wow.
I love
Wow.
that.
I'm exhausted just listening.
I know.
So I would imagine, do you have people who take your class multiple times?
Yes, I have people that come and do the class several times. A lot of them come back as angels to help out the new dancers or the new class people, just to kind of refresh their memory on some of the moves.
Okay.
It doesn't hurt to get a refreshing on it. So a lot of them come back just to do that, and then we continue on.
Okay. So you mentioned the word angels. What do you mean by that?
Okay, the angels are just people that help out. Like if we only had 3 couples and 3 new people come in to take the class, 3 couples, we need 1 more couple.
Right.
So they would be the angels then.
Right. They would make they'd make that 4th, so you're square, and then those
So we
couples
have
could
full
learn
square.
how to do that.
So, and if someone came couple-less, meaning one individual, they would help out and
They would help out that way
with
too.
that couple. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, that's nice. That is very nice.
So we're running down to the end of the podcast here, but 50 years of square dancing. I don't want to I don't want you to think I'm trying to have you condense those 50 years into one little bit, but just from your own history, your perspective, your experience, what is it in that 50 years of square dancing, I would say that you love most, or what is the one thing that has allowed you to do it for 50 years? What's your favorite part of that whole thing?
The people, meeting the people. We've met people from Japan, Germany, dancers, and we just enjoy being around these kind of people that, you normally aren't around, and to get in with other people from other states. It's just neat. And then it's a kind of a reunion once a year. You get together again someplace and you meet up again. And if you have the nationals, which are throughout the United States, and then you have the Canadian National, which is in Canada, you can go to these different places. My classes that I teach in the modern square dancing is the modern square dance that is done throughout the world. It's done the same way, all in English. And it's the only dance that is done that way.
Well, that is cool.
I did not know that.
That is cool. That is cool. Well, we hit our time limit on this. And Steve, thank you for coming on the show. I personally, I'm thinking, all right, I got to try to find and I don't know what night of the week is, but maybe this might be something I got to just try out and see if I like it. I mean, what's the harm, right? They'll come to a class and do the class. And the worst case is I jogged 8 miles that night.
You may not do that the first night. You will as time goes on.
No. I'm thinking you're doing a couple times around. You go, I'm done.
Yeah.
So you're teaching a course through NKA. So I imagine the best way for them who might be interested in that would be to reach out to us. And so that would be our webpage at cetrain.isu.edu, or email us at cetrain@isu.edu, or call us at 208 282-3372. How about that, Jason? I did it all at once.
I know it, Paul. You do this so much better than I did. And again, Steve, so I'm hoping that, man, some of our listeners out there get inspired, at least as encouraged, inspired I am. Maybe take a risk, find an open night, and see what happens out on the dance floor, and see if it's a good experience. So thank you for being on the show.
Yeah, thank you so much. I learned a lot. I still have questions though.
Yeah.
So thank you so much, Steve.
You bet. Thank you, guys.